Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, the Young CEO, here with you guys today. Today I'll be going over a market outlook of the crypto markets as of right now and where I think that we're gonna be headed and stuff like that. Everything that I say, I'm not a financial advisor, right? My content is for entertainment purposes only, and this is just where I think that this market is going and what we need to see before we see the market go back up and certain things like that. So right now, obviously, one thing that I want to make sure that you guys understand is the way I read the market is basically based off of price action, right? I don't really use indicators like the RSI and the stochastic and those indicators. I use actual price action. I use the candlesticks to actually see where the market is going to be going, as well as I use some fundamental news here and there. But price action is really going to be the thing that's going to be true. It's really going to be the true story behind what's really going to happen or what's predictable to happen in the market. So as you see right here, we're looking at Bitcoin right here. One thing also is the market follows where Bitcoin is going to be going. So you can't look at Solana or Illuvium or Ethereum or like Polkadot and be like base that off of where the crypto market is going. You gotta look at Bitcoin before you look at the other assets or cryptocurrencies. Right? Bitcoin sets the precedent for the crypto market. So that's one thing that I want you guys to also understand. So as of right now, the crypto market is not looking that hot, right? Obviously, not everything is going to be looking hot all the time, right? There's a coin, a crypto, stock, whatever, futures, in the futures market, commodities, um, you know, things that you foreign exchange markets, right? Not everything could go up forever, right? Not everything could always be bullish, right? 'Cause everything, if it's always bullish, that's not good, right? You have to have pullbacks in the market. The market has to have pullbacks. You have to have those bearish days, right? So basically, we're looking at Bitcoin, right? Um, right now, Bitcoin is currently sitting at 30,000, right? $30,000 right now, a coin. We hit the low this week, which is sitting around like, I think we hit like 25K this week, around 25,000 this week. And this is after the halving. Right now, it is May 22nd, 2022. So yeah, guys, like you know the Bitcoin halving happened 2 years ago. I'm pretty sure. When did that happen? It happened right over here. Yep, it happened 2 years ago. In 2020. So no, and we seen that huge run up last year, 2021. Look at that, right? So one thing that I want you guys to understand is, before we have to before there's a lot of factors that determine where the market's gonna go and stuff like that, right? Bitcoin is a very special asset, and it is a very very special asset. Digital asset. There's limited supply. 21 million coins ever made in the market. Will only be ever made, right? Um, it has a halving every 4 years. The Bitcoin supply is limited, and that reward that the miners are going to be getting are going to be cut in half, which even makes Bitcoin makes it a deflationary currency. So yeah. So based off of Bitcoin right now, right, we're sitting at $30,000, right? Before we see Bitcoin having to go back up, there's a lot of other factors that we have to take into account, right? One reason why a lot of asset classes are actually coming back is because the dollar is very strong right now. So one thing that I want to see from Bitcoin is that we have a lot of these imbalances right here, right? Imbalances are basically big, huge candles, like huge candles right here. You see this? That's imbalance where there's no other candles, there's no support, no other price action in this area. Right? That's just a huge run up, right? Between these areas from here to here, Like, this is a huge imbalance. All this has huge imbalances and is a gap in the market. One thing about trading and marking up a chart is that, you know, you want to look and you want to make sure that you're actually marking it up as well as analyzing it, not as a retail trader but as an institutional, how the institutions, the people with the big money, you got to make sure that you think like them, and you want to make sure to see, right, where they're making these moves, because those are the people who are gonna move the market. The institutions are the ones that who have the money to move the market, right? Wherever the big money is at, that's where you want to go, right? A lot of people be buying Bitcoin, right? They get the hype, they see the hype, they hear everybody talking about, oh, Bitcoin's gonna hit 100K while it's at $70,000, while it's at like $69,000, right? Some people bought up here and are literally in a loss right now, right? That's where the retail investors trade, right? Right now, right, Bitcoin is quiet. You don't hear anything about Bitcoin. All you hear about is crashing and stuff like that. People are now afraid. The regular retail investor is now afraid to actually put their money in Bitcoin and in the crypto markets, right? When the time is fair and when there's blood in the markets, that's the best time to invest, right? So let me just do a little breakdown of Bitcoin for you guys. So like I said, between this area right here, we still have all these imbalances to actually fill up. And yes, I'm everything that I say is a prediction. It's not a like, oh, it's gonna happen. Like, this is just what I do and how I read the market to put the odds in my favor of, where I think the market's gonna be going. So right now, right, I'm looking at Bitcoin. I see, I put, last week, the last week low came to around 28,000, 25,000, 25,000. Down this area right here, we still have a good amount of, imbalances in the market. So let's see. So like, one area that I'm actually looking to see where to fill in the gaps where I can see Bitcoin come to is actually this area right here. Where's it at? This big imbalance right here between $21,000 and $18,000, where I can see Bitcoin actually coming to, right, to fill up that last imbalance. We still have small imbalances down here, but 12,000, 11,000 is really stretching it, especially because the amount of money that's in the market now, right? Before, in 2017, there wasn't a lot of money in the market. There wasn't as much money as there is today in the market. So I don't see Bitcoin coming back down here. I'm not saying it can't, but I'm saying that I personally don't see it coming back to that level. But it can. It can do whatever it wants, right? That's one thing about the market. The market is always right. Don't ever think that, just because you got into a trade and, it hit stop loss, or, you're not in profit anymore, that the market was wrong. The market will always be right. Right? So this is an area right here that I can see it coming to between 21 and $19,000 right here. Right? It doesn't look like it wants to. I don't see it coming back up here. I mean, it could possibly come up here. I think what's gonna happen is it came down, came back up, right? And then this is like the 22nd of May, so it might, accumulate here, and then next month we could probably see a bigger deep dive down into these areas, right? I mean, before smart money makes a big move up, I think we have to fill in these imbalances, right? Even in this area right here, we still have to fill in these imbalances. It did come to here, but it didn't fill it all the way in. We still have to fill that in as well, right? But this is a huge area that I'm looking for right here, for Bitcoin to actually come back and fill, right? So there's a lot of factors, like, especially with the market cycles, with cryptocurrency and the market cycles that's happening right now. So this was from here to here. This is happening, right here. This is from 2017 right here. Look at this one right here. So this market cycle, right, say right around right here in this area is when the halving took place in this area right here. Right, you have accumulated money right here. You have accumulated money right here. You have accumulated money in this area, right? You have a little push up, and then boom, halving happens, and then Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin skied all the way to 20,000 right here, right? And then at the end of that market cycle, came down, pushed back up, right? Made a lower low, right? Made a lower low, right? Came down all the way back to 3,000, basically $3,000 right here. So as you guys see, like, look at that, boom, it did the boom, and then it came all the way back down, right? Hit this little order block right here, right? But below that order block, you still had imbalance to fill in. Look at that imbalance. That's an imbalance right there, right? Even in this area, right? Even in this area, like, there's imbalances in this area too. So 2017, that's one. After 2017, 2019, right? Even in this area, this is not a market cycle, but like, this is not a market cycle, but it did have a little boom right here, all the way up to 13,000. Came back down, boom. I think this was COVID years. This was little COVID years right here. This was when COVID started right here. Boom, came all the way back down to 4K basically. I filled in these imbalances, filled in those imbalances, and then we went all the way up to, after that, all we've seen was bullish momentum coming up, accumulated, coming up, accumulated, and then boom, all the way to $64,000. So that's one thing about the market, guys, is like, the market can't go up forever. Like, right now we are not in that, this is after the Bitcoin halving, right? In the next couple of years, in the next 2 years, we're gonna see, or next year, we're gonna see when the next Bitcoin halving happens, right? That's when we could see Bitcoin really run, especially the year before the Bitcoin halving. So next year, quarter 3 or 4, we could definitely see Bitcoin go on a run, and then after next year, then we could see Bitcoin really run to where we wanted to see go, right? Maybe 100K. But I'm not saying that it will, but I'm just saying, like, that's if it had a time frame, I think that's when it's gonna be best that it's gonna run to those levels, right? So that's where I see Bitcoin coming to. I could see Bitcoin coming to these areas right here, right? Especially, we have that imbalance, as well as to the left of that imbalance, we have that mitigation area right here. So we have that mitigation area right here as well, and that kind of leads right into that imbalance area. So we could possibly see this. I'm looking to see Bitcoin do something like this. Maybe we stay up here until the end of May, and then next month we come down, make the lower lows, right? Accumulate in this area, make lower lows, especially with the interest rates and stuff like that, how they're hiking the interest rates right now, right? You can see it come here, we're gonna see it accumulate, I think, and then we can see it run, right? End of next year, right? But that's exactly where I think Bitcoin is gonna do. Especially looking at the total market cap right now. As I'm looking at the total market cap of the crypto market, We have order block in this area. We do have price action and support in this area. So I mean, that's another thing to take into account. Also, we're sitting at 1.26 trillion dollars in the crypto market. You know, basically like a third, I should say, of being at all-time highs. So yeah. So for the total market cap, we're in. This is where the last point of support is kind of in this area, because over here you have the mitigation. Let me change this to my rectangle. If you have a mitigation in this area, which it can come down here, once Bitcoin drops, it can come to this level and then mitigate off of that level once Bitcoin comes to that 18K area. So we also see that lineup as well, right? Another reason why these markets are not just crypto but also all the other markets and asset classes, why we see these markets actually going, not doing so well, and actually very bearish, like stock market, crypto markets, futures market, the S&P, like indices, commodities, right? It's because the dollar is actually on a run right now. Like, one thing that you guys have to do is, one thing that I like to actually look at is how strong the dollar is and where the dollar's been going. So literally, like, the dollar has been on a run ever since June 2021, right? Like, look at that. That's a huge run. Like, that is a huge run up right here, right? And this is where, right here, this is where COVID was at. Like, this is COVID dollar peak for COVID right here, March 2020, my bad. We're literally above that. We peaked above that last week. So I mean, if I go left, right, there's still a lot of gaps to actually fill into the market. The dollar right now, we are at an area of support in the market and price action right here. We do have price action over here that can and actually did cause some kind of reaction in the present moment in time of the dollar, right? Last week we did see a little retracement right here, a little red candle, but we still, the dollar can possibly, it could come up to these areas, right? You see these? It could come up to these areas. This is a huge imbalance in the market, right? Over here, this is an imbalance in the market. It could come fill up these candles, right? And then we could see a big, then we could see a drop, right? One thing is that the dollar is basically just strong right now. That's the main thing that's going on. Like, the dollar is setting the precedent for what all markets and what the value of a lot of things right now. And until we see that dollar weakness, we won't see crypto, we won't see stocks, we won't see futures, we won't see indices, we won't see them pump until this dollar gets weaker, and these interest rates, until they stop hiking these interest rates. So that's where we're at in the market right now. There's a lot going on that we have to take into account. Not everything's gonna be another 60% every single day, because shoot, that's what we seen like last year from crypto, especially in the earlier months of the year. So that's one thing that we have to watch. But once the dollar does fill in those areas, I mean, we have a lot of liquidity under these lows right here that we do have to take out. So no matter if the dollar has to come up here first, we do have all these imbalances on the way back down that we still have to fill up, as well as these two lows right here. We do have to take those out, and we still have a lot of liquidity sitting under all these lows. Like, look at this. This is huge. This is a huge liquidity pool right in this area. Right, the banks are gonna come and take that money out. Right, like, So say, right, we see the dollar come up to into these areas, extend to the right. Say for example we see the dollar come up to these areas, right? You know, looking down, looking under these lows, we have liquidity, we have imbalances to fill in, we have other liquidity areas to fill in, and you know that's dollar can't go up forever. The one thing that the system wasn't made for, or wasn't made for a dollar that is strong. Like, it wasn't made for a strong dollar. It was made for a weak dollar, so that you know they could keep the people under, like they could keep the people working and under the system. That's basically the dollar. It can't work like that. The system was made to have a weak dollar. So even over here, like, look at that. That's all the way in 85 though. That's a while. But looking from this area right here, all right, we have all these lows to take out still, but I mean, this is it's gonna be a very interesting couple of months, years to come. So that's where we're at right now, the crypto market. So one thing that I am looking out for is for Bitcoin to actually reach that 21 and 18,000 area, and then once Bitcoin reaches those areas and fill in those gaps in the market, then I'll decide, right, on then I'll start interacting with the crypto market. Right now, the best thing to do is dollar cost average. If you want to put money in, dollar cost average, because we could definitely see a bigger drop in the market, right, going back down. Especially like when Bitcoin gets to that 18,000 mark. If it gets to that 18,000 mark, that'll give me the go for when should I actually invest into my altcoins, my Ethereum, my Solanas, right, my Link, my Polkadot, right? So Bitcoins are definitely a good gauge to see when to invest in the market. But yeah, so hope you guys like the my market outlook of crypto and where I think the market's going, especially based on what the dollar is doing. Make sure you guys go like, comment, subscribe, hit that post notification, and in the comment section or in the bio, in the link in the description of this video, make sure you guys go add yourselves into the Discord, where I will be dropping investment ideas and certain things that to look out for in terms of crypto and as well as NFTs. So yeah, make sure you guys go turn on that post notification button, subscribe, like, comment. I'll see you guys next time.